crazy people would come off a fast. And they ate. And they ate to the point where they were sick. It was like they were infected with the virus. Everyone was sick, and some even died. Because they went against the will of God, and they were not patient and waiting for the blessing God had designed. How many of us want the promised land that God has designed for our lives? And patience is like a virus. How many of us hear about the flu that you get an epidemic? Because one person coughs. The little stuff land on you. Then it lands to somebody else. You pass it to somebody else. And they pass it to somebody else. And before you know it, the whole community is infected. Our impatient spirit, as a unit, can become infectious. We can cause someone else to be sick who's not even within our confines, but within our household. Amen? And then they will infect somebody else in their job. And then that person will infect somebody else in their household. And we can cause an epidemic of complaining spirits. An epidemic of being impatient. But if patience is the desired attitude of God, why would it not act as a virus as well?
Amen.
Because when we are patient, we get on the demeanor of being peaceful. Patience gives you the byproduct of peace. Because you are not anxious about anything. But in everything you are praying and you are petitioning and you are thanksgiving to God about what you are in, and then you're peaceful on the inside because you have this confidence that just like the songwriter says, God's got it. God's got it in control. I ain't got to worry about a thing. I don't have to be overly concerned about anything. And even if right now I need something, or even if right now I'm going through something, God teach me how to wait till I get to my breakthrough. I know you didn't bring me in one door and close me off and got me in a place where I can't get out of. God, I understand that you took me in one door and you might have to bring me out another door, but God, I'm going to wait in the meantime patiently. I'm not going to complain because I'm praying for a breakthrough. So God, I'm not trying to be blessed according to my complaints, but God, I'm trying to be blessed based upon my patience. Amen. I'm trying to be blessed based upon my understanding of your word, on my loving attitude. Lord, teach me how to wait. Because if Jesus had been as impatient as we are, the first time when he came down and had to come to a manger, he could have said, that's not my cup of tea. If God had allowed Jesus to be an impatient person, the first person who threw a stone at him when he walked toward Calvary, it would have been a done deal for us. Jesus could have been an impatient person. When they told him he was going to be laid in a borrowed tomb, he could have said, I'm a child of God. I'm the king's kid. Truly, I should be buried amongst kings and heirs of the throne. He could have been impatient and said, no, that's not my testimony. When he had to go down to hell and snatch keys, he could have said, no, it's too hot. It's too uncomfortable. And then folk who died who didn't believe in you in the first place, God, you know what? Too bad, so sad. I don't have patience with that kind of demeanor anyhow. He could have said this. He could have said when God said, well, I want you to ascend into heaven so that the people can see my glory. He could have said, hey, listen, they ain't believe me when I was there. Well, I'm trying to give them a sign when I'm leaving. Let them just get there any way they can. But Jesus had patience with us to teach us how to have patience with somebody else. Amen. Who's ever gone to a restaurant with some impatient people? Wow. My Lord. That is an embarrassing situation. You go to a restaurant, parking lot full. You sit down. They complaining because they got to wait for the wait. They take the order. They place an order. But then they mad because they got to wait for the food. Well, I come to the understanding that if they bring my food out too soon, it's not going to be right. Amen? Take your time. Get my food right. Amen? But some people begin to complain because they don't want to wait. And guess what? Their complaining spirit causes the table to be blessed accordingly because then the waiter or the waitress is nasty. And you don't know what they're doing in the kitchen. So you have to learn how to wait while you at that table. Because I got kid folks who work in restaurants. And when folk act funky with the waitresses, they do stuff to the food. Amen? Amen? They do stuff to the food. So you got to learn how to wait. Then when you get the food, the person who complain all through the waiting period is complaining because they say their food don't taste right. Then they send their food back. Well, you finish your meal. Now we got to be patient and wait for them to get their meal back. Now they complain because their meal is cold. And they got to eat by themselves. Impatience. It's called the whole table to probably get food poisoning. You don't know what the waiter's done. Amen? Amen. But you have to learn how to wait. There's a reason why God has us wait in long lines at the grocery store. It ain't to become aggravated because we got to wait in line at the grocery store. It's to turn around to that person behind you and say, I tell you what, I'm so grateful to a God who allows me to wait in this line with you so I can tell you just how good God is. Amen? Amen. There's a reason why we got to wait in traffic. Because some of us don't take time to pray before we leave the house. Amen? And God's got our attention. Ain't nobody else in the car. Ain't nothing else to do but say, Lord, have mercy on my soul today. Whatever I do, whatever I say, allow it to fall in line with your will. To God be the glory for great things he has done. There's a reason why we got to wait for financial breakthroughs, because God is trying to prepare us so that we won't spend every dime that comes our way before it gets in our pocket good. There's a reason why we got to wait for healing. God has to allow us to stay in that sick place long enough so we will enjoy our health. We will begin to walk healthy. We will begin to eat healthy. We will begin to do the things God ordained for us to do before we fell into sickness. Amen? Amen. There's a reason why God is waiting to bless us with our loved one or with a spouse, or to heal the person that we've asked to be healed in our relationship, because God is trying to get our hearts right, trying to get our minds right. We fussing and fighting and arguing and nagging about everything that comes our way, but God desires us to have a sweet spirit. So he's waiting so our spirit man will become right. So quit praying. Say, I'm going to pray for you. Say, Lord, please help me to pray for myself. Amen. Learn how to wait. Say, Lord, teach me. Teach me, Lord, how to wait. How to wait. Give God praise. Amen. 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 As we all stand.